want to start with saying that I think that the project is fantastic. It obviously is a lovely looking building. That's exactly the kind of thing that we should be putting in this location in middle of a major American city in 2016. That being said, I really don't feel that the zoning in this location supports the FAR variance request here. We on a pretty regular basis will grant a minor FAR variance request, but as I think a lot of people said, the 600% increase is kind of a lot, and it really, to me, it sort of calls into question the whole point of having a zoning code. I definitely would say that our zoning code has a lot of problems. Like I said, I think that this project should be here, but I question putting it in the C2 district. We have had a lot of problems with conflicts with the comprehensive plan and with small area plans and our zoning code, and we've generally sided with the zoning. So sort of in the reverse situation, if we have a small area plan that says that we might like 3 to 4 story buildings here, but the underlying zoning says that something higher is allowed or a different FAR is allowed, we've gone with what the zoning said, saying that that was the regulation that we were supposed to follow. So I'm disappointed to say that I don't support the motion, but in this case, I don't think that I can. I think if people at a higher level want these kinds of projects to get built, and I do, I think that we should really work on reforming our zoning code. Just a couple of blocks from here, a month ago, I unfortunately missed the meeting, but we approved a White Castle and a Holiday gas station on a whole block in a booming area, and we keep running into these issues over and over again. So I don't have a problem with the height. I don't see this as a historical issue that's kind of been resolved already by the city council, but in this case, the FAR variance, I don't think is something that I will be able to support.
I'm supportive of the variance in this location, and I do believe there is a practical difficulty with complying with the code in that our comprehensive plan does pretty clearly state that very high density development is acceptable in activity centers that are adjacent to growth centers, which that is the case for this location. And the Marcy Homes neighborhood plan, which also addresses this location, also supports high density development. And on a smaller site like this, it's very difficult to get to a density anywhere near that very high or 800 units per acre without any sort of variance. And I also believe that the project is well designed. The podium of the building is well designed and I think fits in well with the historic character of the area. The tower is limited to a portion of the site, and really having a taller building, and I realize it's taller than any other building in this general area, is the trade-off for having a more boxy residential building, which we've seen a lot of lately. So this is something that's a little bit of a change from that, and I think it'll be a good deviation.
I think that the design of the building mitigates against the increased bulk in a way that fits in well with the context. And I think in a building like this, and I understand people have very different feelings about buildings like this, in my opinion, the most important piece of the building is the ground floor where people are walking along. And I think, considering what I think is kind of a lot of parking in this building, the design has been well crafted to, reduce that impact of the parking on the ground floor. That the ground floor is very pedestrian oriented and friendly. That the parts of the building that will be seen as you walk along it are inviting and of a scale that fits in with the surrounding buildings and neighborhood. And then I think, again, the tower, as others have said, is designed in a way, that I think is attractive in terms of its height in the neighborhood. So I'm not sure that, reducing the height of the tower by half would really do anything different to this building as people experience it in the neighborhood. Certainly, if you looked at it from downtown or other areas, the height of the building matters for the skyline.
Yeah, and I just had a couple quick comments about that. I do remember a few months ago when we did revise the comp plan to cap that development limit, because it was previously just unlimited technically, and so we put the cap at 800. And I remember very specifically saying, and I think everyone kind of agreeing, that regardless of the comp plan cap, the underlying zoning code was still what was going to govern individual proposals. And so that's sort of part of my thinking with the comp plan there. And secondly, and then last thing I'll say, that's kind of how I started out. I feel that this project is appropriate here, but I probably feel that a lot of things are appropriate all across the city. And the reason we have a zoning code and we have a planning commission is to remove that element of subjectivity from it. And I just, even though I look at it and think that it looks nice, I don't think that by itself is justification to support the FAR variance.